This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio with me, Deb Wolfe, as always. And today we got a bunch of topics. We got a lot to catch up on. A couple of doggy things, some cat things, as always. Do you know what the cat capital of Canada is? Do you? Well, I'll tell you later in the show. You can try and guess. What is the cat capital of Canada? Don't look it up. Don't cheat. Why am I talking about Canada? Well, Canada's number 2 on our listeners. Number 1, United States of America, as always. Canada is number 2. And that's good for me, because that's where I live. But we've also got listeners from all over the world, including the UK and Australia, Europe, South Africa, all over the world, Korea. And Germany recently have been emailing me about mushroom hunting. On a previous show, I talked about how to teach your dog to find mushrooms or anything. How to teach your dog to find the car so you don't get lost anymore. Or how to find a kid that maybe takes off. And that reminded me of something that happened to me as a teenager. I was in Florida and I was pretty young, maybe 16 or so. And I kind of had a crush on a boy. And he and I walked around the little beautiful place that my parents had rented. You know, there were all these houses on stilts on Captiva Island. And all the kids used to meet at the pool and go down to the beach and light fires and stuff like that. So I met this boy, and I really liked this boy. And so me and this boy walked off together to have, I guess, a little kiss, little romance. Very young, very innocent, but a little bit naughty. So we went to a dark corner behind the pool where no one would see us, and we were getting to know each other. And just as things got interesting, I hear my father coughing as he's approaching. Yes, he borrowed the neighbor's dog. Yeah, because we didn't have our dog with us that time. He borrowed the neighbor's dog and he went for a walk in Florida, and he said, "Go find Debbie." And because I was the one who always walked the neighbor's dog found me. And so did my father. And that ended my international romance that never really got going. So you can teach your dog, or any dog, to find someone by name, especially if they already know their name. But it's so easy. You give the kid a treat and you say, "Go find Sally." And you walk the dog up to Sally and Sally gives him a treat. And then you tell Sally to hide behind the couch and you do it again. And then you tell Sally to go in the backyard and you do it again. And then you tell Sally to go farther. Maybe you go to a baseball field and you have her hide there a few times. And by the end of one training session, your dog can find Sally. So you should keep the dog on leash so that when it finds Sally, it doesn't, do it without you. Especially if it's a real lost kid, a little kid. You want to be there. You don't want the dog to go take off, find the kid, and now you're missing the dog and the kid. So you put the dog on the leash always when you're doing this game, and you can make it into a hide-and-go-seek game. And I've got that on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see how to teach your kids to play hide-and-go-seek with your dog, and it ends up being a trick that your dog will be able to save a kid, or find a kid, or bust a teenager later on. So it's a pretty good trick. All right, so check out my Deb Wolfe Pet Expert on YouTube, and you'll see how to do that. So recently, Jane Goodall passed away, and I'm happy to say that her protege, Diane Fossey, had a Mattel Barbie with a chimp made after her, so that's kind of cool. Or maybe it was Jane Goodall herself. I didn't buy the Barbie. At any rate, it's nice to see that these activists and environmentalists, climate activists, and animal rights people who are bringing attention to the plight of primates are getting a Barbie. So that kind of do good, save the world, make things better ideology is going to be something that's part of the pretend play of little kids. So that's awesome. So I like that. But I wonder if you know what Jane Goodall's favorite animal was. You might think it was a monkey, but it wasn't. I'll give you a hint. So see if you can figure that out without checking it up on YouTube or Google or anything else. Just see if you can figure it out. What do you think her favorite animal was? What got her started in the first place about caring for animals? All right, we're going to go to break and come back. I'm going to tell you about ostriches and belugas and a whole bunch of other things today on Animal Party, Pet Life Radio. Stay tuned.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, we're back on Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. And I noticed they've got this fake AI pet they're flogging again. Haven't they been doing this for years? They're saying it's a new thing. New thing? Saw it a few years ago. Every Christmas they come out with this and they say, oh, it's good for the elderly and it's good for people with dementia and it's good for people who have anxiety issues. Is it? Is a fake pet really good? I kind of find it disturbing to see people with dementia cuddling something that isn't real. I don't know about you. What do you think? Is a fake AI pet good? Isn't a real pet better? Let me know on Animal Party, Pet Life Radio. All you got to do is deb@petliferadio.com. You can leave me a voice clip or text me something. I'd love to share your question on air. And if you want us to call you, we can do that. We can call you and we can pre-record a little interview where you talk about your pet problem and we discuss the solution and then we'll play it on the air for you. So that'll be great. Okay, so Jane Goodall, what was her favorite animal? And what is the capital of Canada? Do you know? You probably don't. Okay, staying on Canada, let's talk about Marineland. When I was a kid, this was an amazing trip for my family. Well, my parents said, we're going to go to Marineland. That meant we were driving from Toronto to Niagara Falls, and we were going to see animals. Not only see them, we were going to see whales jump and seals and marine animals interacting with staff, doing tricks and hamming it up for the crowd. But we were also going to get to go in this big enclosure where my dad used to say it's a big con because you put the change in the little dispenser like a candy machine and out comes little grains for you to feed the animals. And so you put your money in and then you get these grains. And then he used to say, they got this figured. They got us paying to feed their animals. But that's what it was. And then you would stand there as a little girl or a little boy with your hand full of grain and these little goats and deer and things would come. I can't remember what they were, but they seemed awfully big at the time. And they would kind of swarm around you and gently nuzzle the grain out of your hand and eat it. And it was just an amazing experience for me as a kid. But now Marineland is in trouble. They've lost so many whales and they've had deaths and they've had injuries. And now one killer whale died. So many. I don't even want to go through all the problems they've had, but lots and lots of problems. So now the belugas in the enclosure have to be relocated. And there's a place that's volunteered to take them and save them. But they're having a lot of trouble getting permits. And China wants to buy them. And Canadian activists don't want them sold to China. So just watch out for this issue coming up. It's going to be in the news. And it's a really interesting issue that raises a lot of problems for people trying to do the right thing for animals worldwide. What do you do about different places in the world that have different values? And, how do you make sure these animals are safe? So, rescuing them and closing down a facility because it's not being run up to the Canadian standards, only to let the animals go to a place that's probably worse, doesn't make much sense. So there is a way to save these belugas. There is a place willing to take them. So hopefully it'll all get sorted, and we'll look in on that. Now, back to some other interesting Canadian animal news, weird stuff going on over here. There's an ostrich farm here that had COVID race through it. And many of the birds died, but many of the birds did not. And so the ostrich farm owners are arguing that their birds are actually the key to solving the avian connection, avian flu and COVID and all of that, and should be kept alive and should be studied. That makes sense to me. But the authorities think they should just be culled, because if they ever had it, they're at risk for continuing to have it or continuing to spread it, and they should be culled. Now, the people around the ostrich farm are very excited by this issue. People are pro and con, and recently someone was arrested firing shots there. So it's a very, very dynamic and changing. There's court orders, and there's restraining orders, and there's appeals, and it's all happening now. So I'm really curious to see what happens with these ostriches. And I'm hoping they study these birds and learn as much as they possibly can. Why did these birds manage to survive when none others did? Can they make a vaccine from that? Can they make a bird cure? Is there something key in this to solving the problem? I really want to know. All right, we're going to go to break and come back. And, well, a little bit about monkeys, actually, on Animal Party Pet Life Radio. Stay tuned.
Real people, real stories.
Our little dog developed this lymph problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months, started developing more lymph nodes. So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to go down. Then I took him into the vet to have him checked out, and there was no signs at all inside.
My cat had issues that developed in his eye, and 3 months later, my veterinarian said, let's go ahead and remove the eye. I heard the carnivore on advertising, so I said, you know what? I'm going to order this product. They did the procedure. They did all the tests, and they said, I don't know what you did. This product saved his eye.
I've got a Labrador who could hardly lift herself up off the floor. The treatment was chemotherapy. That's when I said, this could be the ticket. About 3 weeks, you could tell. She was very alert. She was going on a 5-mile walk. She is just like prime again.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's carnivora.com.
Use promo code PETLIFE at checkout for 15% off your order at carnivora.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, we're back on Animal Party Pet Life Radio, and I just wanted to give a shout out to this Mississippi Monkey Sanctuary. Since Jane Goodall and all of that, we may as well talk about them a little bit. So they are giving sanctuary to primates, but also helping veterans. So it's a double whammy. So a lot of times empty nesters, this is what the Mississippi Monkey Sanctuary is saying, empty nesters get monkeys as babies, and they baby them and they love them, especially New World monkeys like spider monkeys. But then the monkey grows up. It goes through adolescence or puberty, and it becomes a different animal than what they're used to. A baby monkey and an adult monkey are not the same. So the adult monkey becomes a problem. And so many, many adolescent monkeys are abandoned. So this place takes them in. But they also are volunteer-led and volunteer-run, and many of the volunteers are veterans with PTSD who find working with the monkeys really, really help. So if you need a monkey rehomed, or if you have PTSD and you're in Mississippi, check out the Mississippi Monkey Sanctuary. All right, everybody. I learned 2 new words recently. American words, and since most of my listeners are American, I'm going to share them with you. The American Dipper. That's a new word I learned. Now, what is an American Dipper? Well, it is not a person who goes to cocktail parties, like you might think. It's actually a bird that I saw for the first time yesterday, and 2 days ago. And I may have seen it many, many times and not realized it. It's a fascinating little bird. It's fluffy and gray and looks a little bit like a sparrow, but it lives its whole life in fast-moving rivers nearby, and it eats the bugs and things on the rocks. And you see these birds, they're amazing. They fly right into the waterfall over and over and over, and it looks like they're going to drown, and they don't. They fly right out, and they catch the bugs in the spray. It's amazing. So I just wanted to share with you, if you can see the American dipper out there on your hikes or walks, it's quite a sight. And the other word I learned, because I heard it on TV, was Catawampus. I never knew that word before, but apparently in the American South, it's a common word for kitty corner or askew, like when a picture isn't quite right. It's Catawampus. So, wow. It's got the word cat in it, so it makes it to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio, that's for sure. Okay, so we need to wrap up our questions today. What was her favorite animal? What was her favorite animal? It was not the monkey. No, it was the dog. The dog. Because she said that monkeys were too much like humans. They had all the negative traits of humans. But dogs you could trust, dogs you could love, dogs you could be unconditional with. And that's how she was. Her first love was the love of her dog. So, beautiful story. Okay, and what is the cat capital of Canada? None other than the little quaint town and suburb near Vancouver of Langley, the city of Langley, which is a beautiful little city with a river and quite sunny for this part of the world. But I wouldn't have thought that they would be the cat capital of BC and Canada. And yet they are. There's bigger cities, but this is the one where when they do surveys, more people identify as having cats and loving cats and caring about cats and wanting laws to consider cats and all these other things that were on a very lengthy survey. So there you go. The cat capital of Canada is Langley, BC. So I guess I should leave you with a little bit of a dog training tip before we go. And I'm trying to think, which one should I do? Which one? Well, I guess I could cover a little bit of no begging. No begging. Let's do no begging. All right. So if your dog follows you around when you're eating, put it in another area. If your dog follows you around when you're cooking, get it out of the kitchen. If your dog sits under the table and makes itself obvious when you're eating, move it away. That's the start. Number 1, you stop the behavior. Number 2, you give it a good new behavior. So if I had a dog who was an incessant beggar, maybe I inherited it from somebody else in the family who had fed it at the table or encouraged it to jump up on the table. Oh, no, I hate that. Or just bark and carry on whenever anyone's eating, or sit there with their big eyes drooling, looking at you, getting closer and closer. Okay, any dog who's a nuisance, and you get to decide what the nuisance is. Any dog that's a nuisance, you stop that nuisance behavior first. And then you give it a new behavior. So in this case, I would tell that begging beagle or basset or lab or whatever the case, I would give it something else to do. Like, go lie down, go to your bed, go sit in the corner. Whatever command it already knows. And if it doesn't know anything, it's time to teach it a new command. So arrange something where you can tie it on a leash in that area. And then you say, go to your bed. And you walk it over to its bed on the leash, and you tie it up, you put it in the bed. Good dog. And you might even give it a treat for that. You might even give it its bone to chew. A bone that you maybe keep wrapped in the freezer and you take out for these special occasions, and you hand it to him, and there, he's got his bone. And now you continue cooking, right? And you don't reward him, and you don't talk to him, and occasionally you can say, good boy, on your bed, good boy, stay on your bed, good boy, that kind of thing. And at the very end, when you're all done with food or eating or prepping or whatever it is, wash your hands, put it all away. Now it's time to let the dog off the leash and praise him. If he doesn't need the leash, that's even better. If he'll just stay on his bed for his bone or stay in his spot, that's even better, because eventually you'll get to that and you won't need the leash. You might even have a dog who races over because he knows he's getting his special bone when you cook. You've got to just change it up. Now, some dogs aren't that food motivated, and then you won't be having this problem unless you've got someone who's made it a problem And then you got to get a handle on that person and teach them that just because when you ask the question, are you hungry? The dog acts hungry. Or, for example, when you go near the cat's food dish, it all of a sudden, meow, 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 meow. It's wrapping around your legs and it's acting like it's starving. Could be that's the only trick it knows. That could be that's the only way it knows to interact with you. You haven't taught the cat to come. You haven't taught the cat to sit. You haven't taught the cat to shake paw. You haven't taught the cat to jump where you point so you can get it to run through obstacles or jump on a cat scratch. I haven't taught the cat anything. The only thing it knows is this trick of, do you want food? Yes, I want food. Meow, meow, meow. So if that's the case, no, you got to measure your food. If you got a fat cat that keeps telling you it's hungry, you got to measure your food with a measuring cup and make a chart if there's more than one person in the house. So this cat is not begging food off everybody. Yes, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. Oh, okay. I'll feed you. Now the cat's had 3-4 meals a day when it should have had 2. That's what you got to watch. All right, everybody. Don't let your dogs or your cats trick you into feeding them too much or become nuisances. Just get them to be polite and reward that, and you'll have a wonderful pet household. When I eat, none of my dogs beg. None of them. No. And once a dog comes here and stays with me for a while, they stop. Because I'll never feed them when I'm eating, and I'll never feed them when I'm cooking. I just won't. 100%. It's not going to happen. So because they know the odds are really bad, in fact, if they bug me, they'll get escorted out of the area. So they don't do it. And it's so nice not to have begging dogs. That way you can have them in the room with you when you eat or cook and not have them annoy you or your company. All right, everybody. So for me, Deb Wolfe, and Animal Party Pet Life Radio, be good to your animals. Ciao, meow.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.